Thank you very much. Wow. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's good to be back in Penn State. I haven't been here since I was in high school running in a track meet. But thank you very much for that very nice welcome. I'm delighted to be here. I'm delighted to know that the revolution is alive and well in Pennsylvania. Hey! So we still believe in a choice, and we believe in a choice in the Republican primary, and you are going to have a choice in a couple of weeks or next week when we have this primary race. So I am very pleased that you're interested in the campaign, because indeed the country needs a choice, because by the far majority, the vast majority of the American people are telling us today we're on the wrong track, and we'd like to put America on the right track. And very simply, that means we don't need more government, we need a lot less government is what we need. We need the government out of our personal lives, out of our bedrooms, out of running the economy, and certainly out of the business of running the world. Very simply, that is a good way to solve our economic problems, our financial problems, and our dollar problems. People say, well, how can you do that? What would you have to do to get things turned around? Well, we could start by bringing our troops home. And that would mean that we are refusing to spread the war. There's no reason for us to go to war against Iran, and there are many in Washington right now who are planning that. No war against Iran. And when we bring our troops home from the Middle East, that's not all. It's time, since we can't afford it, and it doesn't give us any national security, it's time, to come home from Korea. They've been in Korea since I was in high school. It's time to bring them home. And that means let's end World War II. Let's come home from Europe and Japan. That war's over. Let's come home and save not a few million, not a few billion, not just a small amount, hundreds of billions of dollars we could save. We're spending $1 trillion a year maintaining our empire. And we do know that empires don't come to an end because of military conflict. The Soviet system came crashing down, and we didn't have to fight the Soviets. They came crashing down because they couldn't afford it. Economic reasons bring empires down. And right now, that is what we're facing. We cannot afford this any longer. And you, in particular, particularly cannot, because you're inheriting this mess financially and also the obligation of serving and fighting these wars. So I would say that one generation never has the right to pass on a war to the next generation. It should be your say, not previous generation. Because we have made treaties in the past, that does not mean that we should automatically go to war. We shouldn't be going to war on treaties, we shouldn't be going to war on UN resolutions, and we shouldn't be going to war on the hearsay of an individual in the executive branch. War should only be fought when it's absolutely necessary, when the American people speak through their members of Congress and there's an actual declaration of war and no other time. It is under those circumstances that the people come together, realizing that we're under threat, and we fight, and we win, and we get it over with, and no prolonged political wars that we have been experiencing. I've taken this very strong position on foreign policy. It's not my position. It's the American foreign policy. It's the policy of the Founding Fathers. It used to be the policy of a lot of Republicans, but they have short memories. You'd think they were supposed to have long memories, but not. But the one thing I've been very proud of in this campaign is in the last quarter last year when there were quite a few more in the campaign. And if you notice, there were 11 Republicans at one time. We're down to 2, so we're doing pretty well. But there was a report, a financial report that came out at the end of last year, and they added up the donations from active military personnel. And they added them, all of them up, all the Democrats and all the Republicans. And guess what? Our campaign got more money than all the rest put together from active military personnel. And they would like us to believe, which we do not, they want us to believe that if you support this position of non-intervention and not going to war carelessly, that you're un-American and you don't support the troops and you're not patriotic. I would say that we are the true patriots in this country and we don't go to war unnecessarily. Now, does that mean that we're isolationists? Absolutely not. Isolationism is where you have walls and barriers and no trade, no travel, and no friendship. And I would say you have all that. The founders advised that. Trade policy, open trade, and let people travel, be friends with everybody. Does that mean that the countries that we deal with are perfect? No. Right now, there's a move on in Washington to badger and beat up on the Chinese, and they deserve plenty of criticism. But why should we be so presumptuous to condemn China for their infractions on civil liberties when we have a few problems right here at home violating our civil liberties? Now, the big talk now is, let's not participate in the Olympics. Let's not go to China. I say, don't take it out on the athletes. Let's use athletics as a good diplomatic tool. Don't send our troops and our guns and our weapons, but send our athletes over to be diplomats for America. But you know, it's been very encouraging this past year. The young people responded, and I think there's something going on somewhere. I think it's called the internet, and I didn't know a whole lot about that internet. I love computers and I like information, but I didn't know about the communications, and I've learned a whole lot. And people in Washington now come to me, other members of Congress, and they'll come and say, hey, teach me how to use the internet to get people to come to my rallies and raise a lot of money. I said, you're missing the whole point. I said, it's what you believe in that counts. It's not a technique. I didn't do it. So I hint, but they never catch on. One person was doing that the other day, and I was the lone vote up there, 1 against 434. And they were lecturing me about why I don't teach them how to raise money and raise more money because they're hurting. And I really wanted to be very blunt. I tried to imply there was a philosophy, but what I should have said and could have said is, you know, that's the reason people care, is because I'm up there all by myself trying to tell people that we don't have to be part of this mess up here, and you're not going to get anywhere if you just fit in and promote power and the same old things. This is why the Republicans have been routed. Is because they didn't stand up for what they believe in or claim they believed in. But the really good part about talking about foreign policy, not only how important it is, there's so many benefits. First, we save a lot of money. We can't even fight this war unless we borrow money from the Chinese. You know, so we could save a lot of money, and there would be a tremendous economic benefit to helping, balance the budget and all. But just think of the millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars that we could save, that we would be safer. We're less safe because we're over there. This idea that we're over there because we're going to fight them over there and not here, but I'll tell you, they come here because we're over there in their face occupying their country and telling them what to do.